She's at her sister's birthday dinner. Her brother-in-law's friend, a guy she's met twice, leans back in his chair and says it to the table like it's a compliment. "You're kind of intimidating, you know that?" Everyone laughs. She smiles because that's what you do. But she's replaying it 3 hours later in the car. Intimidating. That's the word. Not strong, not disciplined, not impressive. Intimidating, like she did something to him just by existing at full capacity. Here's the reframe before we go further. That word was never a measurement of her. It's a report on his internal state, delivered in the second person, so it sounds like feedback instead of confession. So the real question isn't, why do I come across this way? It's, what does a grown man need to believe about himself that her strength makes harder to believe? That mechanism, the exact psychological wiring behind why capable women get labeled instead of complimented, is what we're breaking down today. No fluff, just what's actually true.
Welcome to Iron Femme, a channel that helps women build strength that shows up everywhere. In the gym, in your career, in your voice, in your life. No shrinking, no apologizing, no training light. We lift heavy, we stand tall, we take up space. Physique, mindset, presence, all of it. If you want to be stronger in every room you walk into, you are in the right place.
Run the scene back, because the shape of it repeats with almost no variation. A woman deadlifts twice her body weight, or finishes a race he didn't train for, or just carries her own bags up 3 flights without asking for help. And somewhere in the next conversation, a man reaches for a word that isn't quite an insult and isn't quite a compliment. Intimidating. Too much. A lot. Said with a pause before it, like he's bracing. It rarely comes from a stranger. It comes from a boyfriend 3 dates in, a coworker at happy hour, a father-in-law at Thanksgiving, someone close enough that his opinion is supposed to matter, which is exactly why the comment lands and sits. Notice the tell. The compliment and the complaint arrive in the same sentence. You're in incredible shape, it's just a lot. That just is doing the real work. It's the hinge between admiration and discomfort, and it's the first clue that this was never really about her body. Social psychologists have a name for what's happening here: status threat. When a man is raised, explicitly or by osmosis, to measure his value against a woman's visible output, her strength doesn't read as neutral information. It reads as a scoreboard. This isn't new, and it isn't rare. Researchers studying relationship dynamics have repeatedly found that men report lower comfort in relationships where a partner outperforms them in domains they've been taught to own. Physical dominance being one of the oldest ones on the list. It's not that she got stronger. It's that his internal ranking system, built since adolescence, didn't have a slot for "she's stronger and I'm still fine." So intimidating isn't a description. It's a coping mechanism, disguised as an observation. It converts his discomfort into her problem. If she's too much, he doesn't have to examine why enough felt so fragile in the first place. Here's the framework, and it repeats across 3 predictable scenarios. Scenario 1, the gym comment. She's re-racking 2 and 25 for reps. A guy nearby says, "Careful, you'll scare off the men in here." Observation. Her strength was visible. Study. His status radar pinged. Signal. He needed an audience to hear him neutralize it, which is why it was said loud enough for the row next to them. Scenario 2. The dating app fade. She mentions she competes in powerlifting. The match, who was texting daily, goes quiet by morning. Observation. Disclosure of capability. Study. Anticipatory status threat. He opted out before the discomfort could even materialize. Signal. Silence is data. It tells her his self-image couldn't survive contact with her actual life. And scenario 3, the family dinner. A relative says, "Does your husband mind that you're, stronger than him?" Observation. Her body prompted a question about someone else's ego. Study. He's not even in the room, and his comfort is still being managed by proxy. Signal. This was never about strength. It's about who's allowed to take up space without apologizing for it. 3 scenes, same skeleton. The comment is never really information about her. It's a man's internal alarm system, translated into a sentence and handed to her to carry. So what do you actually do with that? in real time, at the dinner table or the gym floor. You stop translating intimidating as a note on your performance and start hearing it as a note on his threshold. The correction isn't get smaller so he's comfortable. The correction is recognizing that his comfort was never your assignment. Try this substitution. Live, next time it happens. Someone says intimidating. Mentally replace it with the accurate word, unfamiliar to me. Suddenly the sentence tells the truth. You're unfamiliar to me is not a flaw in her. It's an admission that his frame of reference is smaller than she is. That's not a problem she solves by shrinking. That's a gap he closes or doesn't on his own time. A woman in this audience, we'll call her Renata, 42, 3 years into serious lifting, used to preface every PR with an apology. Sorry, I know this is a lot. She'd downplay her numbers at parties, redirect the conversation the second someone asked about her training. The shift didn't come from a mindset quote. It came from data. She started literally logging the comments, who said what, in what tone, right after she'd done something objectively impressive. Within 2 months, the pattern was undeniable. Every intimidating comment came from men who, in the same conversation, mentioned feeling behind in their own goals, career, fitness, something. Not one came from someone who was doing well by their own measure. That log became her proof. She stopped hearing intimidating as a verdict and started hearing it as a confession she hadn't asked for. She kept lifting. She stopped apologizing. The comments didn't stop, but they stopped landing. Here's where the honest counter-argument has to get airtime, because pretending the doubt doesn't exist doesn't make it go away. Maybe I should just be smaller. Maybe he's right. Am I overreacting? Take it seriously for a second. Is it possible to be genuinely abrasive and to use he's just insecure as a shield against real feedback? Yes, that happens. Communication style and tone are legitimate things to examine in any relationship. That's not what we're talking about here. The distinction is mechanical, not emotional. Feedback about how you communicate is specific and behavioral. You cut me off in front of my friends. A status threat comment is vague and physical. You're a lot, you're intimidating, you make men feel small. One can be addressed with a changed behavior. The other can't, because there's no behavior named. There's nothing to fix, because the discomfort was never about a fixable thing. It was about a fact, her capability. That would still be true even if she changed her tone, her volume, her outfit, her numbers. If shrinking the fact would satisfy the complaint, it was never a complaint about behavior. It was a complaint about her existing at full size. So here's the reframe, stated plainly, one more time. Intimidating is not a measurement of her. It's a man's status alarm, mistranslated into a comment about her body so he doesn't have to sit with what it's actually telling him about himself. That's not a rant. That's not man-bashing. That's just the mechanism, laid out so it stops working on her the next time someone reaches for that word at a dinner table. If this is the first video of ours you've watched, this channel breaks down the psychology behind strength, identity, and relationships every week, not motivation mechanics. Subscribe if that's useful to you. Next week, the specific phrase men use when they mean, I need you to need me, and why it shows up most right after her biggest wins.